very well known for Hans Gruber and the Sheriff of Nottingham. I think, based on where we are now, I would like to ask you, what was it like to play the Longfellow?
A privilege. And I had learned, when I played Rasputin before. I think you just did. No, actually, I make the same. But the point I'm going to make is connected to that, which is that I've now played a few people who actually lived, and you become very defensive of them because the last thing you can ever do is judge them, especially when you have somebody like Neil Jordan who really has made up his mind. So you become very, very defensive of people like that. And if Rasputin carries all sorts of images with him, but if he were alive now, he'd be running a very successful practice in Harley Street. He'd be called a hypnotist. So I'm not making false claims for De Valera or not. The point was I was playing a human being, and the last thing that I can do is to judge him. And again, images that come back from that time are unforgettable, like sitting in his cell in Kilmainham and one of the people there handing me a piece of paper that I guess was a photocopy of De Valera's handwriting, and it was a letter asking the nuns to look after his wife and kids. And you talk about the Longfellow, it's the tiniest handwriting I'd ever seen. in pencil, really small letters. So, you know, that's a complex image for a complex man and a complex story. I think the remarkable thing that Neil did was to honor it at all in 2 hours. You know, that should have been a 16-hour miniseries.
Someday. We have time for a couple of questions from the audience, right up the back.
Hi there, Alan. Just want to tell you I'm a big fan of Kate Winslet. She's not here tonight, of course, but what was it like to work with her again 20 years after Sense and Sensibility? Has her career changed since that time? More nurtured actress?
She's different and the same.
And an Oscar winner, of course, since that time as well.
I'm sorry?
An Oscar winner that time, since that time as well, of course.
Yeah,
she's won an Oscar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had a few children, and one of them, in fact, was announced during the shooting of this, so thank God for corsets. She's remarkable because she comes utterly prepared. You know, I've been asked this question a few times recently, and the answer is the same. She comes completely prepared and completely free at the same time. And so, in a way, she is a kind of embodiment of order and chaos, or freedom and discipline. And if you were ever going to try to define what art or acting or trying to be a director or a storyteller is, it's some balance of the two. So she's done all her homework, and then she walks onto the set and drops it. She doesn't forget it, but she doesn't let it get in the way of looking at her fellow actors and listening to them, and then answering them. So what you have is something that passes for truth up there. And also, she's still fun. You know, she was fun at 19, and she is still. And she can act.
And in